I am meeting my ex-best friend tomorrow for the first time in 10 years after she cut me off at the instructions of her abusive husband. Posted by u/veryoff90s. Something really interesting is happening to me, 29F. When I was 6 years old and started school, I met a friend named Linda, 29F. We both had only brothers, no sisters, and we bonded. We lived in a small village, so of course our families knew each other, and because of us, they also grew closer. Linda and I were inseparable. We went through high school together, same class, and even started our university studies in the same group. We made other best friends along the way in high school, two of whom I still talk to, and we were a really fun group. But only Linda and I continued on to the same university. Things changed when Linda met someone she fell in love with. He lived abroad, and they quickly introduced each other to their families. Eventually, he started pulling Linda away from us, controlling her via GPS, telling her who she could hang out with, when, etc. At first, I really liked him because he was the love of my best friend's life, and whenever they had a fight, I would try to bring peace, so he respected me. But when I saw how controlling he was, I told Linda I didn't think she should be in that position. I also called him out for controlling and verbally abusing her. When I did, he forbade Linda from ever hanging out with me again, specifically, and slowly distanced her from the entire group. We lived in the same village, but I never saw her again. She even dropped out of university. Her parents invited me to her wedding, and I didn't want to go, but my parents said we should attend for the sake of the family friendship. They were invited too. I saw Linda for the first time in almost a year and a half, wearing a wedding dress. When we locked eyes, we were both emotional, and I noticed her eyes were full of tears. Her mom and grandmother, who loved me like their own, burst into tears when they came to greet me. That was the last day I saw Linda until she moved abroad. For almost 10 years, I only saw her twice, and only in passing. I can't say I didn't think of her. In the beginning, I thought of her often, but as the years passed, I thought of her from time to time, wondering about her well-being and her life with that man. I heard some rumors that she was struggling in her marriage, but nothing specific, until a couple of months ago when I met her father and her son at a coffee shop in town. I greeted him, and when I looked at Linda's son, I asked, "Is this?" and froze. Her father said, "Yes, he is." I asked the little boy if I could hug him, and he said yes. I hugged him, kissed him on the cheek, and he hugged me back. Linda's father introduced me as your mom's friend, and that was it for that day. A few days later, I heard that she got divorced. She had been physically abused, her husband had cheated on her, and he had an affair with her boss. There are rumors they even had a child together. That was the last straw for her, and she decided to end the marriage. The rumors were confirmed by Linda's mom to my mom at a funeral they both attended. I never asked about her because I didn't want to sound like I was happy about her situation or like I wanted to gossip. Honestly, I was happy for her, not because of what happened, but because she finally got free of him. Not many days later, we saw the news of her ex-husband's death. We still don't know whether it was an accident, suicide, or something else. No one has said. This brings us to yesterday, when one of our best friends, who is still my best friend, we'll call her Anna, saw Linda in town and decided to talk to her. She called me immediately after and told me everything. Linda was emotional and on the verge of tears when they met. They exchanged contacts and decided to meet for coffee, Anna, Linda, and me, tomorrow. Another one of our close friends who lives abroad and is in town said she would join too. I never imagined our group being together again, let alone me and Linda after 10 years of no contact. I thought I didn't feel love for her anymore. I didn't love her or hate her, but now I have this scary feeling about tomorrow, and something inside me is so excited. I feel like I'm about to meet my childhood self. I never hated her, and I was never angry at her for leaving me. I was angry at her decision to ruin the beautiful life she had created before he came along. I felt angry and sorry, only for her. But I know things happen for a reason, so I never judged her for her decisions. It was her life and her mistakes to live. None of us are perfect, and we all make stupid decisions. The thing is, the heart always goes back to its home. No matter her reaction, cold or warm, I'll still try to talk only about our childhood and the beautiful things we did. I want her to feel safe and to bring her just a glimpse of the beautiful life she had, in the middle of the hard times she's going through. I am so excited. Update 2 days later. Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Some of you asked for an update about me meeting my friend. The meeting was yesterday, and it went better than I imagined. We had to meet after I finished my shift, and throughout the day I felt a mix of emotions. I didn't know how she would react when she saw me. Anna and she had scheduled a place and time to meet all of us, and when I got there, they were already talking and greeting each other. I told myself that no matter what, I would give Linda a warm and long hug, and after that, if I felt her discomfort, I would take a step back. She hugged me back, and at first, it felt good but a little strange, like I was hugging a stranger, but after a few seconds, it felt like I was hugging the Linda I know. We walked a bit until we decided where to sit for coffee, and I didn't want to ask anything about what she'd been going through. I wanted our first meeting to be filled with laughs and good memories. Anna didn't ask her either. We went straight to being our teenage selves, being silly and mocking each other, of course, in a good way. Linda initially seemed a little uncomfortable, because I know she felt guilty about how things ended between us, without an explanation, without saying goodbye, without any reason. But when she saw us being completely ourselves, like we used to be when she left, she started opening up, becoming more comfortable, and laughing with us. I didn't want to sound like I didn't care about her life at all, so I asked if she was working, how her son was, and other general things. When she started to talk openly, she was on the verge of tears but didn't cry. I feel like she thought she owed us an explanation about what happened in her life, what she'd been through, but I told her, let's make today only about good things. Whatever happened to you is now gone, and I know you are so strong and so loved and supported, and I know you are in a better place than you were, and all I care about is this, seeing you well. She gave us a glimpse of what she'd been through, how she was forced to leave secretly with just the clothes she was wearing, some things for her son, and how her aunt, who lived in the same state, took her in and opened her home to Linda and her son. She filed a restraining order and told the police she had to leave because of physical and verbal abuse, so she could take full custody of her son. She won the case and requested that her son meet his father only under supervision by authorities. She really struggled to find a place of her own and had to live with her aunt for a while, until she found a small apartment nearby and moved there. She found a part-time retail job, and since then, Linda and her son have been living together. I asked how her ex died, and she said she didn't know because she was fully no contact with him and her in-laws. She had changed her number, left all social media, and didn't have any idea until an unknown number called to inform her of his death. They said he died from a heart attack, but that's all she knows. She didn't believe her ex-sister-in-law when she first called, and Linda said, "Don't bother me," and hung up. After a while, the news was confirmed, and she believed he had actually died. Of course, she was devastated. Hearing her story brought me to tears, and I told her that the most important thing is that she's doing better and to never look back on the past, just focus on the future. We then changed the subject and talked about old times, joked, laughed, just like before. Our third best friend came later but still managed to spend time with all of us, like nothing had changed. My house and her parents' house are nearby, and we drove together to our town. I said I'd like to meet her son just for a few minutes outside the door, just so I could hug him and go. We went, and her grandmother, mother, and whole family were outside, hugging me and inviting me in. Her son hugged me. He was a little shy, but I didn't want to push him to be closer, so I just hugged him and let him be. I went inside just for 5 minutes but ended up staying almost 40 minutes, talking with her family, laughing, and telling old stories. It felt just like when we used to hang out back then. After that, Linda dropped me off at home, and she had to leave first thing in the morning. She said she'll be back during the summer and we'll definitely meet. I told her she can call me whenever she wants. We hugged, said goodbye, and that's the whole story. I felt so happy. I felt like she needed this just as much as we did, and I'm so glad we're in touch again. Thank you all for your good wishes.